today we're going to speak a little bit about Journey Re. I don't know, you probably haven't heard about Journey Re yet. It's a new concept, a new idea, a global entrepreneurship competition. But before we start, I just do a quick introduction of the people who are here today. So maybe Kurt, do you want to start?
Yes, my name is Kurt Hagelman and I'm Chief Marketing Officer for Hannover Re, and I'll talk a little more about who Hannover Re is here shortly.
And my name is Angela Kahn, and I work with Kurt and Hannover Re, and I'm the business coordinator for Journey Re.
And my name is Victoria Eckert. I'm actually external support for Journey Re, working with a consulting firm called Bearing Point. And I will walk you through the idea of what is behind Journey Re and the journey we would like you to start with us today. So maybe some background before we start and before I give you the whole overview of the program, some background about how this Journey Re got to happen. So Kurt and Angela are both working for Hannover Re, and please come in. There are a lot of seats left, and I can move back again to the side if that's necessary. But so there's a company called Hannover Re. It's actually the third largest reinsurance company in the world, and this company has their headquarters in Germany, and they have their 50th anniversary this year. And for that reason, they said, let's celebrate this. Let's do something innovative. We've done the past 50 years. Let's look into the future and see what we can do the next 50 years. And so that's when they came up with the project Journey Re, which is actually an entrepreneurship project where we want to look into the future of reinsurance. Now, you probably ask yourself, what is reinsurance? It's not the obvious thing in the world. So you are all familiar with insurance companies, car insurance, health insurance, everything like this. Reinsurance companies are the companies who insure insurance companies. So it's basically the second security net. Okay. So, to go to the program, and I will start backwards actually explaining it. So it is a global entrepreneurship competition, and I start with the award. The award will be in December, and we will have 8 teams from 4 locations competing against each other to present their ideas that they have developed during a period of time beforehand to the executive board of Hannover Re, including the CEO, in Germany. So you will all the teams will fly to Germany, and the 4 locations that we have are actually Boston, Dublin, Berlin, and Johannesburg. And in each location we'll have 6 people, so 2 teams with 3 people. And then they will compete their ideas, their innovation, to the CEO. And the winner of this award will get 50,000 euros, which is approximately $55,000. And the second will get 20,000 euros, which is approximately $22,000. And so now the interesting part comes, if the executive board and CEO, if they like the idea and if they think it's feasible and it's doable, they're actually willing to invest further and really take those millennials, as we call you as millennials, take them and really fund and realize this idea further on. How do you get there? And we know reinsurance ideas are not the ideas being found on the street every day. So what we set up for this is we asked 6 people in Boston to work from July to December, and that is the working period, with us on a time commitment of 50%, which means 20 hours per week. Of course, we compensate this as well with the $4,000 per month. But so to work with us, reinventing reinsurance. And you'll get coaching from us. On the one side from Bearing Point, a consultancy firm. You will get coaching on design thinking and innovation methods. Then, of course, from Hannover Re, you'll get coaching in insurance and reinsurance topics. So you learn basically everything that you have to know in order to be creative. And then you just have a weekly cycle where we have like meetings and where you have to work through the whole until December to really have these ideas and build them into a business plan in the end. But we will ask you as well, so we will ask you to work in a team, and we will ask you to have these weekly meetings with us, but apart from that, you're actually free to manage your time. So we trust in you, and we trust that you are able to organize yourself, to manage yourself, to really have the ideas. We'll give you the space and the creativity. As well, of course, we will have, so the working period will happen in Boston, so you'll all get a working space in Boston, where you can come together, be creative, you'll get the support you need. And to kick this off, and to give you the deep dive into reinsurance and insurance, you'll have a first week in July, so the beginning of July. You'll have 1 week of introduction week where you will fly to Germany already, and really to get to know all the team members from the other teams as well, like, I mean, Dublin, Ireland, Berlin, and Johannesburg. You really work together, you warm up together, and you learn everything that you need. How do you get there? And what do you have to do in order to participate? And this is now the workshop, as we have it here. So in order to apply for this program, you have to just do 2 steps. First, register on the website that we have, journeyre.com. And then you have to, we will ask you to hand in your CV and your motivation letter until May 13th. So that's a deadline for application. And then we will invite you afterwards to a workshop. We call it assessment workshop, where we ask you to come for 2 days. So it starts on a Friday afternoon, and then it lasts until Saturday evening. So 21st May. And we will do lots of group works and individual tasks, and we will have some slide interviews with you. We will do some warm-up sessions to really get to know you, get to know the team, get to know your personality. And then from those 20 applicants that we choose here in the workshop, we will then select the 6 ones who will participate for the half-year period. Now, if you're interested, and that's now the first step, to learn more about Journey, to learn more about reinsurance and our colleagues from Hannover Re, and as well to listen to our keynote speaker, Alex Banayan, we have the event, which is next week Thursday, so it's April 14th, where we really thought, okay, we don't only want to give 6 people the chance to participate, but we would like to have this entrepreneurial spark a little bit broader celebrated, and that's why we have the event. Okay. So do you have any questions to the program, or do you want me to continue?
So
Yeah.
is what you're supposed to do should be around, your idea should be around reinsurance, or
Yes.
could be.
So the ideas that we want to get are around reinsurance and insurance.
Okay.
So it is actually really closely linked.
Mhm.
And if you improve insurance, it will have an effect on reinsurance.
Okay.
And yeah. Okay, so who are we interested for? Who are we looking for? And this is interesting. We are looking for entrepreneurial mindsets. We're looking for people who think out of the box, who are curious, who don't like to necessarily follow conventions. We're not limited to any kind of discipline. So, reinsurance usually has actuaries, lots of mathematicians, lots of business, financial people. We're not limited to that at all, because we have a feeling and we believe that innovation is something that comes from the experience of different disciplines. So that's what we're actually looking for, to build up a team with different experiences. And we're not limited as well to any kind of degree. So we are open for undergrads, for graduates, and for young professionals. So wherever you are in your level, again, we want to try to have a mixed team to get different perspectives on questions, different perspectives on problems. So yeah, so if you're interested, you just have to apply until May 15th, or come to the event before that, and register on the website first, and then send the CV and the motivation letter. Okay, so to sum it up, as I said, what are the benefits that you get from this program? So you'll get certificates, actually 2 certificates, one in design thinking, which is the innovation methodology, and one for the reinsurance knowledge that you received. You'll get the compensation each month. You can win 50,000 or 20,000 euros. You get 2 trips to Germany, once in July, once in December, and you get a lot of networking opportunities with Hannover Re people, with business leaders from the insurance and financial markets, and we'll put you in touch with the people that you need in order to complete the project. It sounds great, and now the question, of course, arises: what does Hannover Re get out of it, and why are they doing this project, apart from the fact that they have their anniversary? And this is where I would like to hand over to Kurt, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Hannover Re, and who will give you now some insights into the market.
I thought today I'd really start off doing a couple of things. It's important for people to get an idea about where the insurance industry stands in the world today, and certainly in the United States. I'm going to give you guys a quick pop quiz. I want to see if you guys know what you do know about the insurance business, and explain a little bit more about what reinsurance is, and then we'll get into some reasons why we think Journey Re is important for the industry. There's no doubt that innovation is critical for our growth. The insurance industry is at a crossroads. I mean, in many types of industries. I think, and in particular, the life insurance industry, we're still selling business much like we did 100 years ago. And if we don't innovate, we're going to continue to lose position. And maybe that's a good starting point to talk a little about how big the industry is and where the insurance market stands. I mean, if you look at financial services sector, I think most of you are familiar with the terminology and its contribution to gross national product or gross domestic product. It's about 9 going on 10% of gross national product in the United States. But I think what's important to look here is there's three sectors. There's the securities, credit intermediation. Securities is like stocks and bonds and 401ks. Credit intermediation is mortgages, any kind of loans. The third part is insurance. What's important is that securities and credit intermediation are responsible for the vast majority of growth of the financial securities industry in the United States. Used to be about, 1980 was probably about 4% of GDP. It's now going to be about 10. What's interesting is the insurance industry's contribution to GDP has been flat since the 1940s. In other words, the securities and the credit intermediation are taking off as far as what they're contributing to the overall society. Insurance industry is not. And I think that's an important consideration in going forward. Now, before I get into some societal impacts of insurance, and this will be maybe the first really quick pop quiz, most of you, I think of insurance, there's again 3 sectors in insurance. There's life and annuities, there's health insurance, which most of you people are familiar with. You have health insurance in some capacity, and property and casualty insurance. Property being, your car, your house. Casualty being liability coverage. And I guess one of the latest ones I've heard about is Chipotle. You probably heard about all the problems that they've had. Well, they have a big liability issue now, and fortunately they have a lot of insurance in place to cover that. Let's start, just push the first one, and ask you a question here, see what you guys think. In 2014, who can tell me what the total payments are or were for the life insurance and annuity contracts in the United States? How much was paid out by the life and annuity industry back into society? Any guesses? Billion?
4 or 5 billion.
4 or 5 billion. 443 billion. That's, people don't realize the magnitude of that's just the life and annuity end of the business. Let's talk about health. What about health benefits paid? Anybody have any idea how much health benefits were paid by the industry?
Close to $1 trillion.
Close to $1 trillion?
1.5 trillion.
1.5 trillion. 579, but you guys are not far off because it's going to get to $1 trillion and not do this in the future the way it's going. And a big part of that growth has been through Obamacare. I mean, there's been a lot more people that have been absorbed into the health and benefits, and the other, without getting into a lot of detail, a large growth in Medicaid. But a lot of insurance companies now are taking on that responsibility. They can just give them the money and say, you manage that business. And so that number is going to continue to go up, and it will get to $1 trillion in the not too distant future. What about property and casualty losses paid? Any idea?
I probably think closer to 500 billion.
Okay. Anybody else? 502 billion.
Wow.
So that's all of the various losses that were paid into society. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here, and then I'm going to get to reinsurance in a second, is that this is a huge, I don't want to use the word contribution, but pay back into society. Yes.
How much premiums was collected on this relative to each of them?
Well, I mean, that I can get into some more detail on that, but I would say for the total life insurance business, it's probably about 580 billion. So there's a big payment back. But keep in mind, insurance is also people that have savings elements. Annuities are savings elements, and once they mature or people decide to cash them out, then it's the payments back.
Return of
Yes, a return. And I can get into a whole discussion on GDP, but that would bore you really to death. The total reinsurance paid losses, this is just for life and health, was almost 180 billion in 2014. Now, very quickly, Victoria started out with what the reinsurance industry is. We insure insurance companies. But I think an important thing to consider here is that we insure all of these insurance companies, all three of these sectors. And the main reason for doing that is spreading of risk. No one insurance company wants to take all the risk on themselves. They want to be able to spread it out. And for other reasons, including capital growth and the like. But the reinsurance industry pays back this number to these guys. These guys pay it into society. The reinsurers pay it to the insurance companies. Okay, maybe enough on that. For you guys, I'll go through this quickly. Just to give you an idea, this is the property casualty business, natural catastrophic losses. This is just for major hurricanes, major earthquakes, if there were any, tornadoes, major fires at factories and the like. The industry paid out $16.1 billion in 2015. But this is the important number to consider here is there was actually $26.4 billion of losses. Well, who paid the difference? Two people. The government, which is you, and the individuals that didn't have insurance. And that gap is getting bigger every year. And that means the bigger it gets, the more the government's going to pay and more the individual's going to have to pay. So there's really a lot of room for new ideas of how we can close that gap. Let's go on. Real quickly, life insurance, just so I hit this sector as well. First point, ownership of life insurance is at a 50-year low. Less people have insurance today than 50 years ago. And you say, well, why is that? Well, one of the things is the millennial generation isn't buying any insurance. And that's for a variety of reasons. Maybe they have other things they want to pay for, student loans, or putting money away to take some trip once a year. A lot of them are not getting married till later in life. They don't see the need for insurance. But I think the next thing here is what's the byproduct of that? The byproduct of that is 30% of households, not people, households in the United States have no life insurance. None. So what happens when somebody dies? I mean, this is a major issue for the industry. We're flat planing at best, treading water at best. We need to find new ways, new product ideas to come up. And I was talking to Victoria the other day. Maybe the idea is we don't sell life insurance anymore. We sell a life protection, which is a combination of accident protection, life protection, access to low interest credit cards. I mean, a variety of things. We have to think about new ways of doing stuff. And if we don't, it's not going to be a pretty picture in the next 10 years at all. And then maybe just the last point on this, and then I'm going to really get done with all these factoids. But of the people that do have life insurance in force in the United States, 41% of that is group coverage. That's the stuff you get through your employer, or you might get it through some kind of coverage that you're taking a car loan out and you get a group policy to pay off your loan on the car or something like that. Those are all small amounts, $5,000, $10,000, maybe $20,000. It's certainly not enough for protection if you're married and have a family, and that's the only protection you have. But a lot of people, that's all they have that do have insurance. So let's talk briefly. How does this all tie to Journey Re? And I think Victoria sort of touched on this. We've all heard the term, the need for speed. Well, in the industry, the tagline now is the need for innovation. We as an industry, and we're a huge industry, I just showed you the numbers. We are so far behind the innovation curve, it's not even funny. We really have to get our game to another level. And we've got probably 10 years to do it, or those other financial service industries will take more and more. And more importantly, new disruptive type companies will come in and take out whole sectors of the industry because the industry is not going to have been innovative. Just a few points. What does that mean? I had a lot of people ask me out there, well, what kind of ideas are you talking about? New product and structural concepts, new and unique uses of technology, new enhanced efficiency in distribution and marketing, how to find and reach new people that we've never been able to reach before. So that the ideas are very, very broad. And that's why I think Victoria mentioned, we're not looking for any particular type of discipline as a background. We're just looking for people that have really radically different ideas that we can hone and look at ways of maybe moving forward that would be helpful for the industry. And maybe just last here, the need for Journey Re, from my vantage point, is really to provide a creative environment to allow a group of young entrepreneurs to dive into and help find solutions for industry issues and hopefully solve them. And again, as Victoria said, not only is this a contest of who's going to win and there's money to be won, but very, a very good opportunity for taking that idea to the next level and being funded and hiring the people that came up with the idea. So this is not just your typical 5-minute elevator speech to a new startup company about an idea you have. This is getting 6 people together, collaborating, and getting help to come up with some really radical new ideas. And that's maybe enough said on, I don't want to bore you guys too much, and with that I'll turn it over to Angela.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to change the world, and it all starts on April 14th. We're offering a free evening entrepreneurial event in which we invite you to come listen to a dynamic keynote speaker, Alex Benign, who is the youngest venture capitalist in the world. He is highly successful entrepreneurial, and he is going to be giving an engaging and dynamic motivational speech on basically the tips and the trades on how to become a successful entrepreneur in today's society and how to, develop those startups. And along with his motivational speech, you'll also be hearing from Hannover Re and from Bearing Point onto the dynamics of Journey Re, the intricacies of the competition. It's an informational session followed up with a free reception as well. And the reception is an opportunity to network with industry leaders from the insurance industry, the financial industry, the legal industry, as well as the marketing industry. So we highly encourage that if you want to know more about this competition, how you can make a difference in the reinsurance world, how you can contribute to making a global change, to come to this free event. It starts at 4:30. It's at the Artists for Humanity Epicenter, which is on West 2nd Avenue here in Boston. The evening starts with some great speeches. We're going to end off around 7 o'clock, 7:15. We're going to head across the street to the Coppersmith, which is this really kind of, I don't know if you've been there, it's a really neat restaurant. It's got a food truck right in the middle of it, where you can enjoy some delicious food as well as, rub elbows with some industry leaders and get your questions answered. This is an opportunity to really deep dive into Journey Re and the competition, kind of put a face to your CV too. So we hope that you'll join us, listen to Alex Benign, really fantastic speaker, and learn more about Journey Re. To make it really easy for you guys, we request that you scan this QR code, give us a little bit of information to RSVP for the event. Again, it's free. It's next Thursday. And if you want to follow us at all, we do have Facebook at Journey Re. We have a Twitter handle, JourneyRe_Re. We're also in LinkedIn and Instagram. That's our website address. And I really hope to see you there to get some more information. I really want you guys to participate in this competition. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Just one other point. I'm sure, we mentioned Hanover is the 3rd largest reinsurer in the world. I just wanted to maybe add one other additional comment so that you guys understand this. There's a major corporation, global corporation behind this. We're in 150 countries. Our website says we're on all continents, though I don't think we have an office in Antarctica. I've always had a problem with that. But we do about close to $20 billion in premium a year. So we're a very large multinational corporation and certainly have the wherewithal to fund new ideas if they're good ones. So I'll leave you with that.
Great.
Thank you very much for coming. And if you have any questions, we can try to answer.
Yeah. Guys, I left a card for you on your seat. It also has the QR reader on it so that you can register, or you can go to our website at journeyre.com. Just to RSVP, let us know you're going to come on Thursday, or to sign up for the workshop. Okay? Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.